course. And we're going live here as soon as it goes. 3, 2, 1. All right, just making sure. Hey folks, Gene Galin here with the Chatham Journal. I got Cameron Isenhour, coach at Northwood. What are we going to talk about? Oh, there's another one of my favorite coaches, but we're not talking to him today. He's got the best hair in the county, I'm telling you that. There he goes. Let's get back to the important stuff. We're going to talk cross country. We're going to talk about cross country and track and field.
Correct.
All right, so we're here on a Thursday morning. He's already got his folks all stretched out. They're out there running, and you said something about time trials that you can't do. Can you fill us in a little bit on what you're talking about when you're talking about time trials?
So time trials are a good way for me to get them training paces. And over the summer, we've been kind of hit and miss, so having to try to prescribe training paces has been a little difficult, but they've been doing a great job of just running by feel and understanding what they need to do. And they're off doing a good hard workout because we run next Saturday at Wake Med Soccer Park.
Next Saturday, that's the 20th, is that right? 20th,
yes.
Okay.
Against some good competition, so I'm looking forward to it.
Now you mentioned pace. Again, for a lay person, when you're saying that, when you mention their numbers to them out there, what is the expectation? Is there certain points where they're practicing that they need to hit at certain times?
Correct. So they'll run for 3 minutes at the prescribed pace, and then they'll jog for 2 minutes. They'll do that 6 times, and then they'll go run some hills. But once they get used to that pace, it's kind of like second nature. They just understand it. And we put it in terms that they can understand. So like today's pace is a pace that they can run for half an hour. So I can say, go run at a pace that you can run with half an hour. For me, that would be really slow, but it'd be a pace.
But you're just trying to get them to where they're doing that on a regular basis.
Correct. Yes.
All right. It's Thursday. First meet's on Saturday over at Rex Med Center. What's the routine for you and your student athletes for next week?
Next week we'll do a long run on a Monday. We'll do another mini workout during the week. Friday we'll do our pre-race stuff, getting ready for that, and then Saturday we'll get to it and see where we're at.
Okay. What's the team? Well, let's just look back a little bit on last year. You had a very good last year, didn't you?
Yeah, the boys finished 5th in the state, and the girls finished 11th. On the girls' side, we're losing Caroline Murrow, who's a 4-time individual state champion.
And she's going to be at state.
She's at state,
Okay.
the Fendon Division I national champions. Indoor, she was 2nd in the mile and won the 2 mile and set the state record. And then outdoor, she doubled back and won the 16 and the 2 mile, defending her 2 mile title and state record. And then we lost Emma Serrano, who's going to UNC to run club. So that's two big hits. Then on the men's side, we're losing our 1 and 5, but we still have a strong pack of guys that should be able to compete with the very best in the state.
Now, it's nice to have student athletes that go on to compete at a college level, but for those who don't compete at a college level, what are your goals for your student athletes that participate in your program here in Northwood?
I just want them to, one, graduate high school with above a C average, and I want them to either go into the workforce immediately or join the United States military or go to a college or university. Just one of those 3 things, to be doing something.
Right, and I'm going to sound a little preachy here, but I've covered sports here in Chatham County and around the state enough to say that folks that are involved in extracurricular activities, students that are involved in extracurricular activities, usually succeed both in school and then in life. I've actually had student athletes come back and say, "Hey, Mr. Galin, it's nice to see you again. Thanks for taking the pictures and meet my kid." So yes, and Coach Cameron's one of those folks that gets them to that point. What's the team looking like we're going to talk cross country first. What's your team looking like for this year? What are strengths, challenges? What are you hoping to do this year?
Some strengths that we have definitely are 1, 2, and 3. They're all seniors coming back. Some of the weaknesses we have is our 4 and 5 aren't here. One's kind of injured and one's not been running a lot. And then our 6 and 7's kind of wide open, which I've never had that here at Northwood, so that's going to be interesting to see who kind of steps up and fills that spot. But they should be a lot closer together, and we really stress like pack running, which means they're all together. They can kind of reach out and touch each other while they're running, and it's better when 5 of them pass one than just one pass one, because that's putting fewer points on the board. And on the women's side, we have all underclassmen, no seniors. We only have 8, so we're going to try to stay healthy, have fun, and just do the best we can after having a really good season last year with 2 incredible runners.
Is there an individual strategy as well as a team strategy when you're out there running?
Yeah, so the team strategy is more of kind of what we do. We're conservative through the first mile. We try to really hit our goal pace the second mile and the third mile. We just kind of give all we have. But individuals have different things. For instance, Christian's, he's more of a mid-distance runner, so he may take it out a little slower on the second mile, but he can close a little faster than some of my true distance guys. So it kind of just depends on the athlete.
Let me just check. I want to make sure we're rolling correctly. Yes, we are. We're live, and we are on the backup camera. Good. I'm just do that because I had a problem one time, and it was like we had a great conversation that none of you got to see. When you're talking about 7 and 8, and how important is 1 to 3, 5 to 6, 7, 8? And you said you never had a 7, 8 before in Northwood. What exactly does that mean?
So the 1 through 5 is obviously the most important. They're the ones that count for the score. Your 6 is your tiebreaker, so if you score 100 and another team scores 100, if they finished 101st and the other team finished 103rd, we would win because our 6 was ahead of their 6. And then 7's like a displacer as well, so they can kind of push down the scoring. I haven't had the depth I've had in the past years, which is a little concerning, but I do have a very strong lead pack, which will bring the team score down. But we're going to see who steps up next Saturday and leading up till the conference championships and regionals and state meets, which are in late October and early November.
Scoping out the competition, coming into the meet next Saturday, do you have a general idea against who you're running against, who the powerhouses may be? I guess it's the first meet for just about everybody, so there's going to be fresh blood in there for all the teams involved. What's involved when you're trying to scope out who you're going to be competing against?
Really, like at the divisions, it doesn't really matter who we're racing. Everybody has to run 5,000 meters, okay. Men and women. We have some very strong competition next week. You have Green Level, Green Hope, Apex Friendship, and Mount Tabor. So how we stack up against those teams will kind of tell us. We race Orange and Cedar Ridge, which for the men we should be ahead of them. But we'll see how we fare with not having 2 of our top 5 running on the men's side. And the women, we're just going to kind of see where we're at. A lot of them haven't ran a full 5K. We have 3 freshmen, that haven't. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're at and see where our returners are coming in at.
Let's talk about the freshmen. When you got the freshmen competing, it's their first meet. Right now, you probably have a somewhat of a very general idea of how they're going to perform. What do you do with them, or what do you talk with them about after that first meet? What do you learn about your freshmen after the first meet?
I learned kind of like how they felt. I'll talk to them after the meet and see what they thought went well, what they thought went wrong, see if some of my assumptions played out or if they didn't, and then kind of just go from there and try to increase their strengths, and then just kind of work on one weakness at a time. I don't like try to eliminate them all at once because that usually doesn't work too well. So just try to strengthen the chalice and eliminate one weakness at a time.
So when you're looking at weaknesses, are you looking at, hey, we need the biggest improvement here, let's tackle that first, or you're like, hey, you're the weakest here and we need to step that up a notch, or is it more individually based upon what you see and what the student athlete sees or feels?
It's more kind of individualized of what the student athlete feels and what I see, especially if they're struggling on the hill at Wake Med, which is very significant. It's kind of longer. We might do some longer, more steeper hill repeats. If they were struggling with hitting their goal pace in the second mile, we might run some repeats that following week. If their endurance they felt was a little lacking, we might increase their mileage a little bit just to up their aerobic capacity. So it all depends on a bunch of other factors.
You and I talk enough that I know, like a lot of coaches, that you do this it's not for the pay.
No.
But it's for what you're able to accomplish and achieve with the students. So last year, what were some of the biggest challenges that actually, stepped up to a whole nother level that you're the most proud of, both from a coaching effort as well as a student athlete effort?
Probably seeing definitely our guys 4x8 come along. Our first time we ran in the 840s, which is not too good. And then we went into the indoor state meet, ranked 8th. We came out first, so that's for basketball fans like an 8 seed going into the NCAA tournament in March and coming out as national champions.
I was gonna say, you're being modest about 8-1.
Yeah,
that's like
it's a pretty big deal, and that's kind of how I relate it to people that aren't familiar with track and field. And then outdoor, they were second in the conference, stepped it up at regionals and won, and they finished third in the state. We lost to 4 seniors, all who are running in college. And then we lost to Durham School of Arts, who we beat in the regional meet by 1/100 of a second, just because our anchor didn't lean far enough, but we'll fix that next year. We returned 3 of the 4 and have a sophomore that's coming up that should be able to fill that spot. But I was really proud of that, and definitely proud of the girls cross-country team. First meet, we perfect scored in the county, which means I had the first 5 finishers across the line, which is an ideal situation. It's like throwing a perfect game in Major League Baseball, for instance. And then making it to the state meet after we hadn't made it for a couple years was very exciting, and finishing 11th, something I'll definitely always remember.
When you said someone didn't lean forward enough, again, a lay person, do you literally mean leaning forward enough?
Yeah, just leaning forward. In a race, they go off where your torso crosses, so he barely got out-leaned.
So you don't want to back off when you don't want to back your chest back when you're coming in for the finish. You want to literally lean forward.
Yes, you literally want to lean forward to break that plane.
Well, as my little nephew would say, I did not know that, but now I learned something else. Anything else we need to touch on track and field? You're going to be out on the 20th away. Do you have any meets coming up at Northwood?
We do. August 27th, we have the Ronald Horton Cross Country Classic, just kind of meet in honor of Coach Horton, who made our cross country trail. And then September the 20th, we'll have all the teams in our conference here for kind of a pre-meet showdown for next year when we'll host the conference championship meet. And then October the 22nd, we have our 3rd annual Charger Stampede 5K and Fun Run for the community. Anybody, whether they want to run or walk, all the way from 3 to over 100 years, doesn't matter. There's a place for everybody there. And then we host regionals October the 29th at Wake Med Soccer Park, and that will determine who goes to the state meet as teams and individuals. And then as far as track, we're working on trying to buy a new pole vault pit, and you'll see more coming from myself and Gene Galin at the Chatham Journal about our endeavor to acquire a new pole vault pit so our athletes are safe when they're vaulting.
Yeah, we can't say much about it right now. That's in the works, and we'll see how that comes about. Let's talk about the track meet coming up here on the 27th. To someone who's never been here, it's actually very spectator friendly, isn't it?
Correct.
And what I mean by spectator friendly, and that's why I was doing this, is that you can come out and watch them, and there's spots along the trail, and there's people that move from spot to spot, as long as you don't get in front of the runners, to be able to see them go by. Isn't that kind of the nice thing about it?
Yeah, so especially you can see the start and the finish, which is in the stadium, so that's always nice. You can see the last sort of like 200 to 300 meters. You can see the first 300 meters of the race. You can see them up at the tennis courts where the mile is, and you can see them coming down to the finish. And then if you go over to the front of the school, you can see them at the crosswalk as they approach 2 miles. You can see them behind the school, crossing Charger Boulevard, and running behind the soccer field. So it's a good spot over there.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing. If you haven't ever been out to a track meet, the cross-country trail is unique. It's through the woods right by the school, or it's on school property. There's lots of different spots. If you bring your camera, you can get a picture of your favorite student athlete out there. And it's just a nice activity. Usually you run those in the morning or in the afternoon?
Afternoon. 4:30 start time usually.
All right. We talked about cross-country. We talked about track and field. Anything else we need to let the folks of Chatham County know about what's going on in both those sports?
Just come out August 27th, as well as our meet. We have our mattress sale, and that helps all of Northwood athletics. And we're selling Charger cards, which are discount cards in the community. You definitely get your money's worth. Use mine a lot, and as a business teacher, I really advocate to my students that they should get one as well.
Yeah, and I was going to say about the mattress sale. It's set up in the gym. I was there for a couple hours last year. Actually, I was just there hanging out, and it's an experience. And again, if you need a mattress, why not buy one that supports the school's athletic programs? Cameron, anything else we want to close out with?
Not that I can think of, Gene. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, I appreciate talking with Cameron Isenhour. There's fantastic things going on in Northwood High School athletics, and this is one of the guys that's making it happen. Very successful year last year. Got some challenges, got some people performing at a high level, and we're expecting some of the same this year. Thank you very much, folks, for watching.
Thank you.